Here we go. We have Beasty as blue on the west side of the map, playing as the Delhi Sultanate. And I have a very close eye on how people are playing Delhi. The last patch was not kind to them, and a lot of players have abandoned them, but not Beasty. So we will have a very close eye on what he does. And right off the top, we see instant mosque, instant mill, instant lumber camp, with wheelbarrow being... Right, that makes sense. Wheelbarrow being researched right away. I forgot for a minute that the techs are free, and the house following up here with another villager for lumber. Okay, so we've got a quick sense of his initial build. The initial tech is efficient production. So this makes sense now that Sanctity has been bumped to the Castle Age, that players would be prioritizing efficient production, which allows you to place a scholar into a military building, maximum 1 only, but it doubles its production speed. On the east side of the map, we have Bruno in the red, playing as the Rus. Bruno is not a player I am familiar with, but given Beasty's rank on the ladder, Bruno cannot be too bad at all. In fact, why don't I leave him on the screen here, and I'll take a quick look at his rating. So Bruno, 117, I think. So I believe he's rated 117. And Bruno looks like he is Bruh, B-R-U-H, who I believe is an Age of Empires 2 player, and is one of the better Brazilian players in that game. So still 2 named players here. Remember, Beastyqt came from StarCraft 2, where I believe he was a pro player at least some point. Not for some time now, I believe, but nevertheless. So wheelbarrow, still a couple of minutes left on that. His efficient production is almost done. So you can see how quickly those early techs can come in now for Delhi. Piety doesn't look right, though. 10 minutes for Piety. That looks like it's being mistaken for a Castle Age technology. So, but anyway, we'll have to see what he does with this tech. He doesn't have the wood for barracks or anything like that right now. So we'll keep an eye on his first production building and his overall game plan. So hunting cabin here for Bruno, solid 22 gold per minute by that tree line. And his golden gate is coming down. So that is the Rus market building, which allows them to use supplies, which one is generated each minute, for a favorable trade. So you can sell 100 of something to get 150 of something else. That is effectively that landmark. It may not seem like that big of a deal. Really, it's generating you a net of 50 resources per minute, which is pretty bad. But remember, it's not just doing that. It's allowing you to trade one resource type for another, which means, for example, you don't have to go on stone. And if you have two supplies in this building available for those favorable trades, you can, and I'll show you that once this building is done here, but you can buy for 200 gold, 300 stone, and all of a sudden you have the stone for a town center. So this makes them play much more, this gives them much more versatility. We do see Beasty's landmark coming in. It is the Dome of the Faith, which should be unsurprising. Effectively, nobody is building the other landmark for Delhi, which I believe is the Tower of Victory, and is supposed to boost the attack speed of your infantry, which, remember, in Age of Empires 4 includes archers. So I think that landmark could be good. I could see players winning archer battles with that landmark, but I do think it needs some tweaking. Bruno does reach the feudal age. So you'll see here, he's actually already used a supply. Beasty's resources are weirdly even right now. 100 wood, 200 gold. So anyway, this supply now, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a fast castle. He's going to go for lots of food. And I'm seeing this from Rus players, where basically you have wood to build, your barracks, stable, whatever. And only 4 villagers on that. And then you have a ton of villagers on food. And the Rus with bounty are actually pretty good at food generation. So he's in the second tier. They get plus 10 villager food harvest rate. And of course, he does have some passive gold generation here as well. And he can get the stone he needs from this if he wants. But given the resources, it is starting to look like a fast castle build out of Bruno. We're seeing a lot of that from the Rus. Bruno's scouts are roaming around the map. I did not check, but I'm assuming professional scouts is coming in, and you can see that it is. And they are additionally building a couple of extra scouts from the hunting cabin. So this lets the Rus get, don't want to say map control, but they can definitely start. They can scout the entire map. They can get higher bounty because they have more scouts killing the Gaia on the map. They can actually scout what their opponents are doing very easily. And of course, once professional scouts comes in, they can get all of the deer carcasses, their heart's desire, and bring them home. So here we see the Dome of the Faith with actually quite a few scholars queued up, and one's already in here. So he's going really hard on research, and you see double blacksmith right off the top and an archery range. So this looks, I like this a lot. I think we're going to see a scholar put into here very shortly, and then I'm assuming these are the melee upgrades. Definitely interesting play from Beasty. Still 2 more scholars coming out. And we have Sanctity. So in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, it looks like he's trying to get Sanctity done as quickly as possible so that he can start getting on the sacred sites. Now, the sacred sites on this map are not exactly favorable for Beasty. The one in the middle here is definitely not actually in the center. Sure, it's not in either player's area, but it's quite a bit closer to Bruno, and so is this one. This one leaning a little bit towards Beasty. So he's going to have some difficulty, I think, with that, although if his opponent is going for a fast castle, and indeed he's about to click up to that right now, and I think we're going to see the warrior monk landmark. I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head, but we wait just a second. Here it comes. The Abbey of the Trinity is indeed coming down. So Bruno will be able to make warrior monks at half price, run around the map, and grab all the relics. Of course, Beasty knows this. Tower coming down on this outpost, I like that a lot. It'll make it much easier for him to grab with his scholar. And we see the first scholar coming out now, presumably as the technology is finishing up. So another minute and 8 seconds left on Sanctity. So the scholar will be there a little bit in advance. That should work out pretty nicely. In the meantime, it's going to pop down here, maybe looking to build another tower close to the sacred site. We'll see. Bruno doing some nice scouting, keeping an eye, basically looking for scholars, right? He knows the Delhi game plan at this stage, and really the Delhi player knows the Rus game plan. He knows he's going to be trying to grab as many relics as possible. I feel like this was going up slowly, but maybe he added more villagers, or maybe that is just me. And we see archery range, triple archery range. So this is looking like a Rus horse archer build. Get as many relics as possible. Go for horse archers. The interesting thing here to me is that horse archers don't cost gold. So, you know, you are building, you're trying to capture all the relics, and then you're making a unit that doesn't cost gold. Now, that being said, the gold can be used for upgrades, and you can also just save it up for the Imperial Age, or it can be used at the Golden Gate to buy the resources that you actually want. But we can now see the triple horse archer production coming out from Bruno. Beasty's infantry walling all around this sacred site, as well as capturing it, so that's a nice job. Gate forward and in back. We see a tower going up on the middle one, capturing this one now as well, and a tower is going to be going up here as well. So, nice play by Beasty. I don't know if he has seen... It's a little difficult to tell. I think we can assume he knows that this is the play. Whether or not he knows horse archers are coming, he probably knows the Rus player is going to be out grabbing every relic on the map, and that he has a little bit of time to get away with grabbing these sacred sites. And in fact, horse archers are going to be terrible at getting through these walls. So this sacred site is really quite safe now. And even with a single arrow slit upgrade on this tower, I guess maybe they could break in from this side, but it's actually going to be pretty hard to take back. Looks like Beasty was incredibly close. Oh no, he did take this. He did. So we should see some gold pop up here. There we go, 66 gold. So, you know, even taking this and even losing that scholar, it is still worth it for the money. Keep in mind that the scholars are made for only 75 gold. Beasty driving off the horse archers from Bruno. Anything to keep the sacred site, right? So, as I was saying, it's only 75 gold for scholars made from the Dome of Faith. So, if that is the landmark you've chosen, relic being picked up here by Bruno. If that is the relic you have chosen, it makes sense even to grab a sacred site, even if you lose it almost immediately. As long as you get that bar to the top, you're guaranteed to make 2/3 of 200. So I guess 134 gold, and it is worthwhile for that scholar to do. So Beasty will lose these archers. He may have hoped he'd taken out more horse archers, but still took out a handful of them. Looks like maybe a couple scouts, 4 horse archers, something like that. He's going to need to be careful with his rally points from his buildings. They may still be wandering off, but it looks like he's pretty solid on that. And we can see he is in the process of walling this in as well. So we'll see if Bruno allows that. I don't know if Bruno can actually see this happening. Looks like he should see this wall, so he probably knows that something is afoot. Being able to get there, remember, I think this thing does have arrow slits now. Did he go with that here as well? He did. So, you know, even in fact, the horse archers may not want to hang around here regardless, just because they'll be getting shot, and horse archers are actually fairly flimsy. Taking a look at their hit points, they have 85, but with no ranged armor. So, of course, you can get some blacksmith upgrades and fix that. But they are pretty squishy units in general. They're more about their maneuverability and their DPS. Beasty, in the meantime, massing up units here. Do we see him? So he hasn't clicked up to Castle Age yet. His blacksmiths are currently sitting idle. Taking a look, he has scholars, a scholar and a barracks, scholar and an archery range, and a market coming down. And Beasty is sitting at 1,500 gold. So this may look sloppy. It is in a sense, but keep in mind that Delhi, because of that Sanctity upgrade, not only can they capture the sacred sites early, you know, in the feudal age rather than in the castle age. Oh, the wall not quite finishing for Beasty, but he might get the villager away. So not only can they do that, but they actually get double gold from the sites as well. So, oh, and stone tower as well. So this thing's going to be really difficult to take down, and we'll see what sort of cleverness he uses to get rid of the sacred site. So Beasty has been raking it in for gold. Despite having nobody on gold, he has 400 gold per minute. So that's a pretty big deal, and it means, you know, he has nowhere to spend that gold. Yeah, sure, he did a couple of upgrades from the blacksmith, but that's about... actually, in fact, the upgrades are free from Delhi, so that's me losing my mind there. I would hope that he would click Siege Engineering on one of these. It's the kind of thing you want sooner rather than later. And it looks like he does just sit on this thing, take the sacred site, and he does lose a knight doing it. But that looks to me to still be worth it from the Roost player. In the meantime, Beasty pushing into the middle, adding more towers, and looks like he's going to be trying to take back this sacred site, making sure Scholar doesn't wander too far into the front. He's going to go through that gate now that it is open. So, nice play by him, kind of forcing his opponent, or at least his opponent feels forced to do something about this. I don't know that he is, though. And there's no reason why he can't do the same thing he did up here. I guess it is the case that the walls are up here, so he would have to take them down first. So maybe this is less easy pickings than below. Nevertheless, pardon me, Beasty will take back the sacred site. We'll see him get some gold. So remember, you get that gold right away. It's so worthwhile to do this. So he's raking it in for gold, and it's really just a question of how he spends that gold. So he used that market to equalize his economy. He built the House of Learning, and we'll see some upgrades come in now. The Honed Blades upgrade, I believe, is bugged. It is it takes the time as if it is an Imperial Age upgrade. So you can see 15 minutes there for honed blades. I think that's slow enough personally that you should consider getting some of these other technologies. Nevertheless, it is a really good tech, and so you can imagine players just want to, like, the sooner I can get to honed blades, the better. I might as well start right away. But the fact that that tech is bugged really has nerfed that landmark from Delhi, and I think people are starting to consider, well, maybe that landmark that decreases the stone wall cost is worth it. It's only, actually, it's not just stone wall. I think it's any stone for any building, which means you can get castles for 25% less stone as well, which could be pretty good. So I see a ball moving towards this. Beasty moving a bunch of troops here. I don't think too much damage will get done here by Bruno. He is going to bump into quite a few units. I don't think he can see past see these villagers just yet. Looks like maybe he can, given that this is a gap. But this won't be a good battle for Bruno. So, you know, he took down some wall, he caused some problems, forced Beasty out of the middle of the map. I think the best thing he could do now is make some play for one of the other sacred sites, or, you know, forward siege workshop, you know, prepare some sort of push. So he's doing his best to harass and harry with horse archers, but it's only so useful when your opponent is not really out on the map. So Beasty is out on the map insofar as he's trying to take the sacred sites, and I think this looks like another scholar here going to take this one back, and these walls are completing. But that's it, right? He's not moving around with an army. He's not harassing his opponent. So what are these horse archers going to do? They actually get outmatched by, you know, most units, right? So it's really their maneuverability that's useful. They can run, they can snipe knights, things like that. They actually do pretty good, quite a bit more damage than Mangudai, so they are actually pretty useful at killing knights. So he's heading home here, and I can't help but feel like this is not the right play unless you can get the jump on your Delhi opponent and keep them off of the sacred sites. But, you know, yeah, I was going to say more towers are going to go down here, outposts rather. He'll upgrade those as well. He's going to make this as much of a pain as possible to take. And now he has all three, and this is still nobody on gold, but he's going to, you'll see here, he's going to have 600 gold per minute in just a second. And that is such a huge advantage. The ball's in his opponent's court. Do we see a second town center? I don't believe we do. So really it's, his opponent has taken, looks like 4 relics so far. Do I see another one on the map somewhere? It's possible. Yeah, so 1 relic here from Beasty. So 4 to 1. So that's 300 extra gold per minute for Bruno. But then with the sacred sites, that's 600 here. And so that's actually 300 extra gold for Beasty. And that really forces Bruno's hands here. He absolutely has to do something. All right. So elephants in the center of the map here is pretty cool. Love seeing the elephants. And he's gone with the tower war elephants, which are ranged units. I actually think this is a great call. They should be very good against the horse archers from his opponent. And I don't know if this is a good push. He does have armored units, which should generally be pretty good against this mass of archers from Beasty, but of course he has towers as well. The archers can even just garrison in a tower if they choose. And now that we see the mass of men-at-arms here is going down, see if he keeps his elephant alive. I think at least 1 elephant will go down. But it's looking like the other 2 are surviving, and the elephants are actually not bad at taking out men-at-arms. They do 31 damage with their shots. You can see, or sorry, rather, that's 31 damage melee, which is quite good, and 15 bow damage from each one of the 2 archers that are on top of the elephants. So men-at-arms with, what would it be, 6 range armor here, are still going to be taking 11 damage per hit from these elephants. Now, 2 elephants have gone down, but overall, this still looks to me like a huge win for Beasty. He still has the Sacred Site. He still has 1 tower. He's lost only 1. His opponent's horse archer mass is down. So he's forced his opponent to, or make him feel like he has to take these sacred sites. He's tried, he's failed, he's heading home, tail between his legs. Beasty still has a very solid mass of archers. I love this. Just rebuilds the wall right away. Wouldn't be surprised if another villager comes, builds another tower outpost somewhere here, or if he gets more upgrades on these, maybe making them stone. 50. Neither of these are stone, right? Yeah, okay. He needs the fortify outpost for that, which does make them quite a bit better in general against, be it rams or units trying to burn them down. Keeping in mind, Beasty won this battle. He's now doing a crossbow switch, and I have to say that's going to be tricky, pretty tricky for his opponent. Get some water here. Those men-at-arms are being very hard countered at this point, and in fact, he knows it. He knows he's down enough. So Beasty takes it against Bruno. Delhi against the Rus. Really nice play by Beasty. Really straightforward, well executed. This has been Paragon RG. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.